Okay.
I believe we are now live. This is always the fun part is like discovering if we're live. Are we actual live?
Are we video as well
We
as?
are. We
Okay.
are video right up there. So I am here with Jack Somppi, someone that I have known for. Did you know that I've known you for 8 years now? That's how long the
Wow.
development of Sign has been going on. So no, but actually I might have known you for about 7 years, but still,
Yeah.
we're
Time
coming a
flies when
long
you're
way.
having fun.
Constant fun, right? So for anyone that might not have heard you before or heard us chat before, do you mind giving an introduction of who you are, why you're at MSC, who you're representing, all that good stuff?
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot, Ryan. I'm Jack Somppi. I have had the fun and games of working in the measurement and test measurement world since 1976. So
It's a minute.
that's a minute or two. And have been working in the DC and low frequency area primarily for electrical calibration and making instruments in marketing and selling instruments and hopefully working to satisfy the customers and the users of those pieces of equipment.
And you're soon going to be in our course because there are some really good papers out there on thermal EMFs.
Thermal EMFs, measurement uncertainty.
And you were the person referenced in it, and I'm like, hey, I know that guy. I should just have him come on and talk about it. So that's something that students of ours can look forward to. So what's new with Meatest? What are you guys doing?
Well, Meatest is a name not necessarily having a ton of time in the U.S. market. It is a test equipment manufacturer that makes precision electrical sourcing equipment. It's used a lot in the calibration labs to provide precision sources for testing measurement devices of various kinds. It also has branches of products that are used in a wide variety of different areas, making various unique decade boxes of resistance and capacitance and high voltage resistance to be used not only in the metrology world but also in the manufacturing, test, and evaluation world, and the test evaluation world, who need resistors and resistances and possibly capacitance and the other for doing the type of test and verification that they're needing for their products. So Meatest is a company that has been in business since about 1991. It's a Czech Republic-based company. In 1991, they were started when the east-west wall came down, and they decided not to work for products made for the state-run organization, but start their own company.
Wow.
So they got into the area and they've developed a whole broad line of test and metrology testing and equipment for testing primarily measurement instruments. And they've been doing that for many years. And in the U.S., they did not come strongly into the U.S. until about 5 or 6 years ago.
Sure.
And they've been paired up with Fluke, for example, in providing equipment to Fluke that Fluke needs for their marketplace. And they did several products for that. And then as the markets evolved and changed, they were able to go for saying, hey, we have a lot of products here. Let's not just worry about the few that we sell to Fluke being business, but to do business on our own. So they make electrical calibrators, they make impedance calibrators to test impedance measuring devices like RCL meters.
And they bought the 1040 Charlie, right?
That's right. They brought out the 1040 Charlie, the Navy.
That used to be my old torture device. Did I ever tell you about that?
No, tell me.
So when I was an instructor at the schoolhouse, one of the funniest parts is like they would do. Obviously, we had troubleshooting of oscopes, And sometimes these guys would have trouble breaking O-scopes in a way that, students can figure out what's wrong with them. I did it with the 1040 because that's a good machine to pop fuses and stuff like that on. But no, I was glad that it's still around because, like, I know there's a bunch of labs I support that those things are great for shipboard gauges and
Yes.
stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
great to see it revived.
It's really neat. The 1040 Charlie was used. It was very unique.
Mm-hmm.
It was used, I think it came out in the late mid 70s.
Right.
And
Well,
was
it's probably the first version, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
the Charlie was, I think, later, wasn't it?
it was. They
Yeah.
had, and I don't know the
Sure.
A
The
versus
lineage.
B versus C version, but they continued to make it until the mid teens, I think, till the 2010, 2015, somewhere around there. Arbiter said, "We're not interested in doing this business really anymore," is how I understand it.
I see.
And so they stopped developing and they continued to sell, but they finally stopped the sales of new products around 2015, 2017, something around there. And then they totally stopped all support of the product in the early 20s, I understand.
Wow.
2020.
Okay.
So for the last 5-6 years, people have been just scrounging to try and find ways to repair
them
and
together.
replace. Yes,
Frankenstein.
yes. So the Navy finally screamed and said, "We need a replacement," and we were interested in working with them because we had similar calibrators in the Meatest line that did similar work, but not in the exact same way that the 1040 Charlie did.
Uh-huh.
And so we talked to the Navy, as well as other people did as well, about what the Navy wants. And so they put out a request we want to get this, can you do it for us? And we said yes, and they liked our offering. And then early this autumn, provided the evaluation units to them, said, "Hey,
Oh, okay.
try these." And they said, "Looking good. Can you do this? Can you tweak that?" And those were basically a couple firmware adjustments.
Nice.
And so there's a little bit more evaluation yet to do, but it looks really good. So we're going to be having the Meatest 6040, 6040.
All right. 60/40.
Yes, fill that need in the market. So that's it's in a unique box. I mean, talking to some Kel labs, around the U.S., some of them said, "Hey, we have a bunch of those in our organization. We have 23 of them, or whatever."
Wow. They must service a lot of like shipboard
Must be. These
functions or
the
something.
ones I talked to up in the north central part of the U.S., so maybe they service, the Great Lakes area or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It'd be hard to get a Navy ship up that far.
No,
easily.
but there are some of those still shipboard the service ones. I forget what they're called. The fleet service support groups. Anyway, it makes sense to me. But yeah, that's awesome. So anything else new going on with Meatest? I'm glad to see you out at MSC again.
Yes,
What do you think about the turnout this year?
it looks really pretty good. We went through a difficult time with the COVID and some of the other stuff that's happened in the recent years, and
Sure.
this looks like a good recovery from it. There's other professional organizations that have similar events, like
Sure.
NCSL,
Right. Yeah.
National Conference of Standards Labs International.
Exactly.
That's another organization that serves this particular segment of industry. And they've had similar challenges, and they're
Right.
recovering and that sort of thing.
Well, I know very intimately well now, like when it comes down to companies' budgets, training is one of those that sometimes gets cut,
Yes.
when things are tight and I mean, everybody's knowledgeable of, like, we've had quite the last year in 2025 with government shutdowns and stuff like that. Like, even sign like a small organization like mine, we felt it. There was things that were scheduled, funded, and arranged and need to be moved, right? And like, we can't release the funds even though it's been it's approved. It's like, Wow, this is weird. Like I've never been a part of these things before, and then now I get to see, kind of how that stuff trickles down.
I know it's interesting as I have some family contacts who work in the government area, and it's been a challenge for them to get the funding
Yeah.
out and approved. So, that's just their segment of industry.
And like what Mike was saying, I like that this was the turnout, and the Navy wasn't here in the normal force that they were. So imagine, if things were a little bit more normalized, like what
Yep.
a really good
Yep.
turnout that would be.
We had a visit by some of the Navy people today that they weren't expecting to be able to come.
Yeah.
But some things happened and opened the door for them to be
Absolutely.
able to come here. And it's a local thing for them, quasi-local. And so they
Corona,
were,
yeah.
Corona. So that worked out nicely, and I was glad to see that.
Awesome. Well, Jack, that was a 10-minute chat.
Really?
That's it.
Man, already.
Well, thanks for coming on. And
It's a pleasure.
I hope we get to have another 10-minute chat next year.
I hope so.
But obviously I'll be in touch very soon because I wanted to touch base with you around Christmas, but we weren't able to touch base. You're globetrotting. But I
Yes.
do want to have a nice chat with you about the thermal EMS because I think you'll like the project we're working on for the school.
That would be neat because, there's a really interesting aspects about thermal EMFs, and how they can come and bite you if you're not careful in the
Yeah.
testament. Really bite you.
Well, and it's where we're teaching that when you start to creep into that 6.5 digit, even further, it's like now you're starting to, you're going to see those effects if you aren't paying attention.
That's right. As I was giving a presentation yesterday,
yeah.
and talking about that, you have a measurement standard and a unit under test that measures, and they're geared to be tested, but the connection process between them has all sorts of subtleties that you don't think about, and they can bite you, and you're not really knowing it. You're being bit until you have scars from the teeth.
And I think more to the point, you and I know them, but if we don't tell our technicians about them, they're going to go on life without ever thinking about it.
I know it was, and I'd always heard thermal EMFs were something to be concerned about. And then I went out after years of, knowing of them. I went out and did some experiments. Holy cow. There
Yeah.
can be some huge uncertain errors that bite you that you're not aware of.
That's a good teaser for our thermal EMF podcast.
Good.
Well, Jack, thank you once again. And that was another 10 minutes.